Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Welcome, people. The new hoodie has launched. It's official. It is official. Thank you for the roses, Blue Smile. Appreciate that. Wow, look at that. W's in the chat for Blue Smile. We're just getting started here. My name is Austin Hamilton, also known as, oh gosh, the porn coach. The coach of porn. Here to ask the important questions in life. At least one important question. That question is porn cheating? Is it cheating to masturbate while watching strangers have sex, particularly if you're in a committed monogamous relationship? The Skim father says no. He says no. All right. Like and share, tap the screen. I'm just pretend. The Dark Mark, welcome. Hey, you're a proud owner of one of these, aren't you? We're bringing the OG back. Just launched right now. Let's go. Let's go. You're crashing out on what? On life, or like you're tired and you're going to go to bed? Everyone's got to have a little tug now and then, says the Skim father. Okay. Okay. Well, who wants to come? Who wants to join the live? Crashing out on life. Dark Mark, why? Why? Don't do it. Don't crash out. Who wants to come and share your opinion, share your story, maybe something about how you've been betrayed. Maybe you are a frequent fapper and you like to watch the pornography. You like to masturbate while watching strangers have sex. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. One time I talked to a guy who claimed he masturbated 75 times a day. I just made that up. Gotcha. I wonder if it's happened, though. I just watched a YouTube video. This is not made up. Somebody said he would fap 10 times a day. It's a lot of fapping. A lot of fapping. It just sounds so weird hearing you say that. Yeah, well, stick around. If you've never been on my live, stick around. You think that's weird? We're just getting started. The request buttons are not working. Hold on. Like and share, people. Like and share. Tap the screen. Let's get this going. Let's get it going. If we get this going, I'll be up all night. All night. All right. Let's bring some guests on. Here we go. We welcome all except for user. What does that mean? OMG, my boyfriend says it's not cheating, but I think it is. Help, it changed how I thought about him. That one guy from the other night. Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about, Jazz. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. I mean, some people. You know, but I'll sit here and I'll take the blows. I'll take the blows. They're mad at somebody. I'll let them get it out there. You know, it's fine. Like and share, people. We're just getting going. Let's bring some guests on here. What do you think? Is porn cheating? Maybe you like porn. Maybe you like masturbating while watching strangers have sex. I don't know. What are you into? Maybe you've been betrayed by a partner and it hurts badly. That's called betrayal trauma. The trauma that you experience after a betrayal has occurred. I started laughing so much when he got all silent. Yeah, I can't remember exactly when that was that he went silent, but man, that some people, and it's like, it's so obvious what's going on for him. It's so obvious, at least in my opinion. Like and share, tap the screen, 3,600 likes. Let's get that up to 5,000. We're just cooking. We're just starting to cook. No, it's not cheating depending on the person, though. Some people are uncomfortable with it. It is just sad, but to each their own. Yeah. Actually, Dr. Trish Lee, who I've been a big fan of for years, and we shared the stage on a mastermind a few weeks ago. She was on Jubilee within the last few weeks, and it was 4 no-fappers versus 4 porn stars, and I watched the whole interview. I'm going to do a reaction video to that because I thought it was interesting. And I would have handled a lot of that very differently. She did great, but I would have added some color. I think this question refers to morals rather than yes or no. It's a good way to put it. All right, pumpkin laughing. First guest of the night. Let's go. Like and share. Tap the screen. 5,000 likes. Let's go. Let's get to 10,000. Pumpkin laughing. What's going on?
Hey, I don't know you, but do you know Amanda? Don't say you don't know Amanda. She just told me that porn is not cheating when she dated you because you were kind of lacking in the department, so she had to look at porn. I'm not trying to be mean,
Got
but
it.
yeah, Amanda, you know Amanda, so don't rag on me. Get back at Amanda because she told me she dared me to talk to you tonight and divulge that.
Got it.
Divulge.
Amanda dared you to say that. Man, what courage you
Yeah,
had to
because
come. What courage you had to come and share that.
she was whatchamacallit, dude. You just you didn't satisfy her, and she was
I
so
didn't
in love
satisfy.
with you. She was
Got
so
it.
in love with you, and she really wanted to work, but you were limp.
Got
And
it.
now
Okay.
you're a peak coach. So
Yep.
this
Got it.
is ridiculous. I don't know what you're trying to prove here.
Okay. So and I'm going to kick this guy off. This is actually a true story. We didn't officially date, but I hung out with a girl named Amanda once. She's now a lesbian. So, you know what? Oh, man. That's so great. At first I was like, have I ever, there's no Amanda. Yep. There was one. She went straight to the other team. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, that was great. I'm just going to call it a night. I just got on, but I'm going to call it a night. Thank you, Pumpkin Laughing. So the aforementioned Jubilee episode, I watched the whole thing, and then I was like, why was I not on this Jubilee episode? Like, WTF, Jubilee? How do you not know about me? I guess I'm not that famous. I guess I'm not famous at all. So I actually went on. I would accept you guys, but you're not requesting. I went on Jubilee's website, and I was like, well, how do I get on this frickin' show? And they have a whole casting page, and they're currently casting for one called X Addicts. And I'm like, sign me up. So I have a call later this week to talk to them about potentially going out to LA and being on this episode called X Addicts. And it's actually hilarious, their application process. They ask all these questions. So we're casting former addicts who are ready to share their powerful journey of addiction recovery and what life looks like now. Looking to cast a wide range of past addictions, drugs, sex, gambling, etc. Disclaimer for applicants. Cast members will be expected, and I'm assuming that if and when I'm selected, I won't be able to talk about anything before the episode, but it says cast members will be expected to wear a face mask to conceal their identity. Participants' voices and names will also be changed to add anonymity. After each cast member shares their secret and about their experience, they will be asked if they want to remove their mask and reveal their identity. Removing the mask is optional. So then they ask a bunch of like demographic questions. And then it says, why do you think you'd be a good fit? Are you comfortable covering your face? What was your addiction? How did it start? Please share a secret or something personal that very few people are aware of that relates to the topic. And then so I was like porn addiction, sex addiction, affairs, whatever. And then it says, does anybody in your life know about this secret? I was like, everybody does. Is this still something you're actually struggling with? I'm like, no. What would it take to fully? I was like, oh yeah, would you be willing to own your secret publicly and remove your mask? I'll do the thing without a mask on. So they might actually not choose me because it's not really a secret, but we're going to talk to them on Friday. We'll see what happens. The whole world, yep. Once you put it out to the whole world on the internet, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. Once you make porn, once you share pictures of your body, you can never unshare them, and you don't know where they will go. So be careful of who you share naked photos with. All right, let's get back to the guests. One guest is requesting. Only one. Where you at, people? Yo, what's going on?
What's cracking, bro? That's not entirely true, man. I shared some.
What's not
naked
entirely
photos.
true?
I shared some photos, bro.
Okay.
And you can't find them.
Okay.
Are you gonna start looking for them?
Nope.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Have you? I mean, did you used to be addicted to porn or what?
Yes. Have we talked before? Pretty sure you've been on here.
No, I've never been on here.
Okay. Got it. So is porn cheating?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Got it. All right. Why is that?
Before we get there, I think that we should discuss you a little bit. I think that you're projecting just because
Who's live? Hold on. Whose live is this?
It's mine now.
It's your live. Okay. Got it.
All right. So I think you're projecting. And so just because you had a strong addiction with it doesn't mean that everybody does. And just because you watch it, there's nothing wrong with you, bro.
When did I say that everybody has an addiction to it?
I've heard you say that before.
Okay, I've never said that.
I'm just kidding. You never said that. So, is it cheating from your perspective?
I believe if you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person and you've said something like, I love you, only you, mind, body, and soul, till death do us part, if you deviate from that commitment or agreement with another person, whether it's on a screen or otherwise, I believe that goes against the agreement and is therefore cheating.
You forgot a one important point.
Got it. What did I forget?
If it's acceptable for the other person. So, like, let's say your wife said it's okay for you to do it.
Didn't forget that point because I said if is a qualifying word, it's a conditional statement. If you're in a committed monogamous relationship, meaning there's an agreement. So I didn't forget that point. I've done this before. What else you got?
That's all.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, man. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely, honey.
Bye-bye. Okay. What's going on, people? What's up, Danielle? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Trina? What's up, Dark Mark? I have a feeling tonight's going to be a good night. All right. I was talking to my wife earlier, and I'll bring another guest on here in a second. I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I need to be doing more lives. I've only been doing like once, maybe twice a week for the last like month. I've also only posted like 3 videos in the last 6 weeks or so. Okay? So I'm just telling you guys, we're ramping up the content here. Summer's going great. It's a little, you know, like there's kids everywhere. But you know what? The show has to go on. Lock it in. Lock it in. So if you didn't notice this curtain in the background, it's actually I don't know if you can hear me when I stand up, but I set up a corner in here to shoot content, okay? I set up a whole nother part of the studio just for dedicated content. So we're locking in, all right? And by the way, the Porn Coach hoodie is back. It's up right now in the TikTok shop. All right, so if you want to buy, for all of you who said you want this to come back and you will buy it when it's back, now's the time. If you don't buy it, then you're all liars. And I'm going to start a new channel called Don't Trust Any of Your Followers on Social Media. So it's live. It's there. Okay? Can we call in to discuss how confident we are our partner doesn't watch it? Yeah, I'd love to. Whatever you want to share. Aaron, best hoodie ever. We have all the people. I think everybody who's ever purchased this is here on this live right now. Both of them. No, there's 3. Brandy, where's Brandy? We've sold a lot, hundreds of them. All right. Yeah, this is the OG. I brought the OG back, Aaron. I brought the OG back. All right, so let's get this thing going. Like and share, tap the screen. If you like my content, give me a follow. If you don't like my content, don't follow me. I don't care. Let's bring on another guest, and we'll go from here. Your neighborhood witch. That's scary. You want to chat? Hey there, what's going on? Hello. You doing okay? Hello? That was odd. Very odd. L's in the chat? I don't know. What do you say to that? Hey there, what's going on, Mr. Earl?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to start out by saying your camera quality is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's get it going. What's the
Let's
question
get it going.
is what?
Is porn cheating?
In my opinion, no. This
Okay.
is just my opinion. I don't
Okay.
think it is cheating if you watch porn or even get yourself off to porn. I feel it might become a problem if like you do it a lot and like it sort of like starts affecting your relationship. You know what I mean? Something like porn, man. Coming from someone who used to like really watch it, it's you know, it's something. So if you find yourself like, I'd rather watch porn than like be with my girl, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? There's a line. There's a line. I don't think it's cheating if you watch porn though, because you know. Anyway, that's how I
Got
feel.
it. All right. All right. So are you in a relationship?
Currently, no.
Currently, no. Okay. And you said you don't watch porn anymore?
I'll watch it here and there, but it used to be like a thing for me. You know what I mean?
So you do watch it?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't care. I don't care. Either you do or you don't. You
yeah,
do.
yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Got it. Definitely. Okay.
Just not nearly as much though. You know what I mean? It's like once in a blue moon.
Like how often?
Once a week. I'll be
Once a week.
honest, completely honest.
Why wouldn't you be honest?
That's completely honest. I don't know. Once a week.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Got it. Once a week. And that's a reduction, a big reduction from what you used to do. So how much did you used to watch it?
Yeah, man. So it became like, and this is I'm 32 years old. I'm like 25. It's every night before bed. Like I can't go to sleep
Oh
without
God.
getting one off, and then I go to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was every night thing, bro.
Every night.
Just
Wow.
like routine. You know, you lay down, about to go to sleep, rub one out, then you go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. So you would have to masturbate yourself to sleep
Basically, yeah.
in the past. Got it. Okay. Were you
Yeah.
in a relationship during that time?
A long distance relationship.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Did your partner know that you were doing that?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
We
Okay.
talked about it.
How did she feel about that?
I mean, if you want to know, it turned her on.
You said she wouldn't know?
No, if you want to know, it turned her on.
Oh.
She liked the idea of me touching myself.
She liked the idea of you masturbating while watching pornography and watching strangers have sex?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Why do you think that turned her on?
Because she's imagining me touching myself, not the porn that I'm watching.
Got it. She's imagining you touching yourself, not the porn that you're watching. Got it. How
Yeah.
long did that relationship go on for?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. All right. Why do you think it ended?
It's gonna sound cliche. We were young though. I was 20. What? This is even earlier then. I was 22. So like very young. Like too young to decide you want to be together forever.
Got it. Okay. All right. So now you only do it once a week. And how's that working for you?
It works. You know,
It works.
I've done research in that if a guy ejaculates, it takes something like 7 days for his testosterone to balance out. And so
Got
if
it.
you withstand for 7 days, you get a boost of testosterone, but after 7 days, it balances out. You know what I mean? I don't know. You probably don't, but it makes sense if you, that's my personal research.
So what's your claim there?
Here's my claim. I'm referring to like intentionally not ejaculating, and then how that can have benefits to a man.
Got it. All right. When were you first exposed to pornography?
Early on, early teen, something like 11, 12, something like that.
How'd that happen?
How did I see porn?
Yeah.
Curiosity, brother. You know, you see movies, you know, you might see a flash of boobs, titties on camera. I know what titties are. I know what women are at that age, and I know I like it. So my parents have a computer. If you're a young boy, you know what to type into Google. That's how it happened. I wanted to see it. It wasn't by accident.
Got it. So you had access to a
I was a very
computer.
horny little boy.
You had access to a family computer. Can somebody ban that guy? The D person? How do I do this? What do I call this? Hate speech? I don't know. You're going to get a hate speech. Not you, the person in the comments.
Okay.
You're a very horny little boy. All right. Where were your parents around that time? California,
They were
Mary.
home.
It's been forever. Good to see you.
Oh,
Your parents were home, okay, and you were on the family computer looking at pornography. Do you think
hey, California Mary.
I'm good, Mary? Can't wait to hear from you, Mary. You'll probably come on 14 times tonight. Okay, so you found it when you were about 11 years old, and you got hooked on it, which eventually led to your early 20s. You would have to masturbate yourself to sleep in order to go to bed, and now you've you toned it down to about once a week.
Yeah. Like,
And,
it's
and
not a
you're
problem
and
anymore.
it's not a problem anymore. Got it. And your research suggests something about helping testosterone or something like that.
Yeah, so coming from a dude who, I'm speaking for myself, someone who used to like do it every night. If you withstand from ejaculating as a man, um, after ejaculating like crazy, it'll produce a spike in your testosterone. But after 7 days, that spike balances out to your base level testosterone.
Got it. Okay.
And
So
and yeah.
and you don't think that porn is cheating. So if you're in a relationship, how would you feel if your partner is staring at a bunch of other dudes' eggplants on the internet?
If we talked about it, I wouldn't mind.
Got it. If you
Like
talked
we would
about it,
have
it
to
wouldn't
talk
mind.
about that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. What is there a particular type of pornography that you frequently watch?
Um, let's see, man, I got a few. Big booty girls. Let's just put that out there. Big
Big,
booties.
big booties. Okay.
Big booties.
So not little booties, just big
Not
ones.
even little ones.
Just big
Big
ones.
ones.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this concept like you're not. Well, you wouldn't say that you struggle with pornography, but there's a reason why you watch what you watch.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you watch big booties and not little booties. I don't know what that reason is, but
Right.
in the addiction framework, you're not addicted to pornography. You're addicted to the type of pornography that you watch. And so there's a reason why it's that thing, the big booties, that have got you, as compared to the little booties. But maybe, if and when you realize it's a problem, you want to work on it, you can go down that path.
You're saying I'm addicted to big booties?
No. Do you think you are?
I don't think so.
Got it. Okay.
Was this a good conversation? Are you done asking questions
I think it's a good conversation. What do
about
you
my
think?
porn interest and all that?
Oh, I could.
Can I ask
can
you
go either
questions
way.
now?
I could kick you off, or I could ask you more questions. Sure. You want to ask me questions? Sure.
Do you watch porn?
I don't.
Why not?
Why not? Well, a number of reasons. One, the actual research overwhelmingly suggests that it is bad for the brain. It's bad for the brain. The brain scan of a porn addict looks basically the same as a coke addict. That's one reason. Another reason is I'm married. I'm in a committed monogamous relationship, and I don't think it's honoring of my spouse to be masturbating while watching strangers have sex.
I respect that.
Yeah. And so the problem, one of the problems with pornography, one of the many problems with pornography, is that a lot of people think that they're watching it, and then when they get in a relationship, they're going to stop. But it's not going to happen. Because what you're doing, what you're reinforcing, particularly around prolonged reinforced use, like somebody like yourself would have had in their 20s, is what you're doing is you're actually getting yourself further away from being able to have an actual connection with a real life person because you're so conditioned to look at something on a screen and masturbate.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder to connect to a real person. Now, I got this job for a reason. I was addicted to porn for about 20 years. Okay. And
Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, can
Yeah.
I cut you off? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You should have led with that, bro. You were addicted for 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay, way to leave that out. So you can
I
relate.
didn't leave it out. I have a whole platform about this. Talk about it every
So
day.
you can relate. I'm not crazy. You can relate.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making that clear.
Yeah. And?
I'm sorry. It just sounded like you were trying to make me look bad for like I used to watch porn and you're like asking me certain questions and stuff.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't. It takes one to know one, man.
And then when I asked if you watch porn, you say no, I'm married. And then
Well,
you save the best part for last. I was addicted for 20 years. 20 years, dude. You should have led with that. That should be in like the you should pin that as a comment or something, bro.
Got it. Okay, so I didn't answer your question properly.
I don't think you did.
Okay,
But
I apologize. I
will
didn't
accept
answer
it.
your question.
I will accept it.
Jeez.
You did answer my question, by the way.
You asked if I watch porn, not if I have watched porn.
We're on the same page, by the
Yeah,
way.
I got you, man.
I agree
Yeah.
porn is bad for you.
Yeah.
And it gives you an unrealistic view of women, and stuff. It makes you feel like these scenes that you watch will be like in real life. It's not like in real life. Not all women are cut from marble in the same way, these women you see are. That's not real, bro. And I know that, which is why I stopped,
Well, but you didn't
It's
stop.
unrealistic.
Hold on.
It's an unrealistic standard.
You did. I thought you said you do it once a week.
Once a week. Yeah. I'll
Well,
get
again,
myself off.
I don't care. You watch it 5 times a day or once a week or never. I don't care. You're kind of all over the place.
You're right. I'll clarify. I didn't stop.
Got it.
I toned it down. It's no longer an addiction, I feel like.
Got it. What's the longest you've ever gone without it?
Man, 60 days, 2 months.
Couple months. At what age?
Oh no, not even. We're talking porn or ejaculating.
Porn.
I'm talking both.
I'm talking porn. Masturbating's a whole other
So,
conversation.
okay, 2 months.
2 months. How old were you?
20, 27, I want to say. 27? Yeah, something
Got
like
it.
that.
So if you know it's bad, why do you do it?
So it's bad, but it's not bad in what? It's bad if you abuse it, like anything. It's bad. It's okay in moderation.
It's okay in moderation.
Do
Got
you
it.
agree or no?
No, because I think we have to look at pornography for what it is, which is the active, willing engagement of objectifying another person, reducing them down to their sexual value for our consumption. And so I think the better question is how much willful dehumanization of another person do you want to participate in? My preference would be none. So by engaging in
Can I
pornography, we're
answer?
actively objectifying somebody. So I would say I don't see the middle ground there. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't feel I'm objectifying these people as much as I'm doing what they want me to do, which is view their content, right?
Well, what they're wanting you to do is be a sucker and be a slave to their content. And you're right. You're doing exactly what they want you to do so that they can profit off of it.
So they can make a living. Yeah.
Yeah. Also known as
What's wrong with
prostitution.
making a living as a sex worker? What's wrong with that?
Well, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know. What do you think? There's anything wrong with that?
If a person wants to do that, I'm not going to tell them not to,
Got it. Got it. At what age would you
right?
apply that standard to?
I mean, age-wise, me personally, 25.
25. Yeah.
If it was up to me, men and women, 25, right?
Would you date a sex worker?
No,
Why?
because she's a sex worker.
What's wrong with that?
what's wrong with her being a sex worker is my when it comes to relationships, me making a girl my girlfriend or wife, I have certain standards for that.
You see the problem with this whole thing?
I don't, but tell me.
Well, you have certain standards when it comes to a real life person or relationship, but in your secret hidden life, standards go out the window. It's just debauchery. How you do one
Right,
thing is how you do everything.
because it's not real. Because it's not real behind closed doors. I know it's fake, but in person,
But
in
but
real life, in reality, I wouldn't want that.
in reality, you wouldn't want that. So then, why do you do it in your fantasy life?
Um,
Because it is a real person on the other side of that screen.
right, yeah, yeah. Why do I do it in my personal life or my private life? The same way anyone else does it. It's hot. I like watching it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I say if I'm being honest because my answer might sound like I'm trolling or something, but that's my honest answer.
yeah, I got you. All right, man. Well, what else?
I'm an open book. If you have no more questions, I can think of one more.
Yeah, well, do you think it would be better for you to not watch porn?
I I know it would be better.
You know it would be better. Without hesitation, you know it would be better.
Okay. I think it would be better.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, no,
I
no.
would
I do this sometimes. I do this a lot. I'm sorry. Um, I have anyway. I think nothing
hmm
is factual
hmm Well, I don't know about that.
because here's another point, I guess. If I decided, okay, I'm not gonna watch it anymore, period. Um, how am I gonna get myself off, bro?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not
you
married, by the way, like you.
I got it.
I don't have it
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. What? What did you just say?
You're married, bro. You can just be like, "Hey, wife, hook a brother up."
You're obviously not married and have never been married. And what I'm laughing at is because one line I
It's
say
not that
all the
easy.
time, one line I say all the time is if you want to do something hard, get married. And if you want to do something really hard, stay married for a long period of time.
Oh man, how long have you been
So,
married?
14 years last week, 2 weeks ago.
God dang, dude.
So freaking long. I know. I'm so old. And by the way, whoever asked for my Venmo, I have a Cash App link in my bio. California Mary.
Congratulations.
Thanks for that. So yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm
14 years
laughing
is
because,
crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. I'm laughing because, like, dude, it's not easy. Like being married is
It's
really,
not.
it's hard, right? And
Oh wait, you
you
thought that?
think
Okay.
you think that once you're married, it's just porn star sex all the time. Like, nope. And there's your, respectfully, and again, takes one to know one. There's your porn brain talking. It's like you think that that's what it's like when you're married, but it's not. At least not in my experience and many other people.
Not even. That's not what I was implying. I was implying that sex is easier to access for you because you have a partner. I'm not implying that sex is crazy and you guys have sex all the time and stuff and oh my god, like I'm not that immature. I've had a girlfriend before. I know it's not like on site whenever you want it.
Yeah,
But I agree that marriage probably is a different game. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, totally, totally. Well, man, look, if you think that your life would be better without it, I would just encourage you to explore that and really consider what role pornography is playing for you. Do you mind if I kind of just share some wisdom from my experience?
Yeah, go ahead, for sure.
Yeah. So people, every man who knocks on the door of a brothel is actually searching for love. And when I say brothel, I mean porn, I mean prostitute, whatever it is. We don't want to have a nut, or however you might call it, or we don't just want to see a big booty, as you put it. There's a deeper underlying reason why you're turning to that. There's some sort of pain that you're wanting to seek comfort from. And that's what deserves to be explored. Behind every man who watches pornography is a story that's dying to be told. Something like, I don't deserve a woman. I was so hurt at some point in my life. The pain of being abandoned or rejected or unseen or unnoticed is too great. So I'm going to keep turning back to pornography like a dog going back to his vomit.
Can I
And
cut
so,
you there?
what's that?
I know why I watch it, and it's not. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. So
I
there's,
swear I'm listening to you, but it's not like that. Here's why I watch it. I have I have something called a hypersexual mind. I have ADHD, which is
no, you
a
don't.
brain thing. Let me educate you real quick. I just have a word, please.
Great.
ADHD. Someone with ADHD, they have a low base level of dopamine. Dopamine, you know what it is. It's a chemical in your brain, makes you feel good. With having a low base level of it, you seek out dopamine in the strangest places. And with having ADHD comes with something like a hypersexual mind. Where are you going to find dopamine as someone with ADHD? Things like alcohol, things like sex, things like gambling, these high stake things that flood your brain with dopamine. That's my excuse.
How's that working for you?
How is the ADHD working for me? I'm working
Oh,
on it.
how's
I'm
how's
taking
that
medication and all
excuse
that.
working for you? Yeah, I mean, I would just say, you might feel that way, but all the literature suggests that a hypersexual brain is actually, this comes from a book called To Be a Man. It's when we eroticize our wounds. We think we're super sexual, we're hypersexual, but it's actually we have just learned to eroticize our pain and turn it into
Have you looked into
sexuality.
ADHD?
Yes, I was diagnosed with it when I was 17.
Do you know that someone with ADHD is up to 6 times more likely to develop these addictions?
I'm aware of data that is similar to that. I'm also aware that
That's fact.
oftentimes ADHD is a trauma response. The day I quit porn, I also cold turkeyed ADHD drugs. Haven't gone back. It was a trauma response, in my experience. This is not medical advice, okay?
Yeah, I'm still taking my medication just because
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, ADHD is a hell
Yeah,
of a thing. I get it.
it is, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, the dopamine dependency, it's a big part of pornography. It gives you
It comes with
it's a super
ADHD.
normal
A
stimulus.
low base level. Imagine living with a low base level of dopamine.
Well,
My base
and
level
what
is
you're,
naturally low.
yeah, and Dr. Trish talks about this in her book, Mind Over Explicit Matter. It's like your dopamine center of your brain is basically fried. I shouldn't say you. The brain of a porn addict, their brain just isn't functioning properly. So,
Right. Yeah, I agree. It,
all right,
it
man.
will it will desensitize you to other things.
Yeah. All right,
But
man.
yeah,
Thanks
I
for
feel
sharing.
like there are some people in the chat who want to come up. You're right.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Take
the
care, man.
talk, brother.
Yeah, you got it, man.
All
See
right.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.
W's in the chat for that guy. Give me a follow if you guys like my content. Follow button's up there somewhere. Up there. Up there. And L's in the chat. Hey, I enjoyed that conversation. This particular book is Mind Over Explicit Matter by Dr. Trish Lee. Quit porn and improve intimacy through neuroscience. She is a neuroscientist who has done research on the subject. Why are we L-ing the chat? Are we L-ing him? Do you think dopamine problems can be overcome? I know they can. The brain science suggests it's a 2 to 5 year process to rewire the brain back to normal after a porn or sex addiction. So it's 100% possible. All right, let's get another guest. Hey there, what's going on? Hello. Hello. Florida Lindsay, you there? Not there. I shared the best thing on my Instagram today. I thought it was good. It said, this might be hard to hear, at some point, it is not loving to continue a relationship with a person who consistently and perniciously sins against you without some sign of repentance and change. Whew. It's a good one. Hey there, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Is porn cheating?
Well, I left a little comment there. I was saying that the idea of cheating, isn't that a subjective idea that's different for every couple?
Well, I would define cheating as going against an agreement.
Yeah. So if part of the agreement of the couple is that porn is maybe included in their sex life, or they've already kind of predetermined that it's not cheating, then is it just cheating by the nature that it's looking at porn? Like, are you implying an ethical thing to porn right off the get-go and then applying it to all concepts of all relationships forever?
I wouldn't say it's cheating if the people in the relationship have agreed that they can use other people in pornography, then no, it's not cheating.
Okay. So you don't think porn is cheating all the time? This is just a clever question to ask to get conversation rolling.
I think that if you agree that you're going to use pornography, then it's not cheating.
Yeah, cool. I think we're probably on the same page with something like that. I just couldn't tell, just based on, being a porn coach, like, are you suggesting that porn is, there is something just wrong with it in general, or is it the addiction of porn that is wrong with it?
Yeah, I don't like using binary words like that. But I would say that if we look at pornography as objectifying another person, which I believe it is.
Really?
But I would say, yeah. When you reduce somebody down just to their sexual value, people do have sexual value. But when you reduce them down just to their sexual value and then consume them just for their sexual value, and particularly if you're in a relationship, it's overwhelmingly proven that that's problematic for relationships.
Do you believe in ethical sex work?
Do I believe in ethical sex work? Do I believe it exists?
That it can be ethically, ethically good or whatever for someone to, sell pictures of themselves on OnlyFans?
Define ethically good in the way that you're phrasing that.
I know you don't like to use binaries, which I respect a lot. So I'm trying to understand, I guess, the deeper belief around just viewing another naked body that you don't have a relationship with. Is there something that is like immoral or, obviously you discourage it, but is there something that is inherently or innately wrong about, being turned on by another naked body or viewing another naked body?
You're getting so specific with the question. Is there anything inherently wrong with getting turned on by a naked body?
one in which you
Zach?
don't have a relationship with. Like, I'm giving you the fact that, like, obviously in a relationship, that's kind of the whole point. But there is also a sense where, there's a whole world of sex workers. OnlyFans has shown that millions of women are choosing to take pictures of themselves and put it out there and then offer it for a certain price. And other people choose to pay that price so that they can look at those pictures. Like, is there something wrong with that economy that is different than, any other kind of work or exchange of value?
Yeah. So again, something wrong with it. It's too easy to answer that as like a yes or no, right? But here's the thing, there's something called the paradox of choice. Yeah, yes, are people choosing to do it? Sure. But are they really choosing to do it? Like, I don't think, and I actually know because I talk to a lot of OnlyFans creators and strippers and prostitutes on here. It's not like they're choosing it because they're like, yes, this is what I want to do. In some cases, they don't see another option.
Yes, I definitely understand the exploitative nature of a lot of sex work.
Yeah.
But I also have, friends that are OnlyFans creators, and this is what they do, and they would much rather do that than, work at McDonald's. It pays better. It's value, and like there's just something about it that they find is empowering and liberating for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I would just say, I think that will expire. I think it
Really?
expires on a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, you look at, books like The Porn Myth, which, he interviewed a lot of very famous Jenna Jameson, Pamela Anderson, a lot of former porn stars, from the 80s and 90s. And in most cases, at least in the ones he interviewed, they're like, yeah, this is not good. Right. Now, people in their early 20s are like, oh, this is great. Okay, fine.
Yeah. I think you could probably say that about celebrity and anything that they hate being known for their work. Because I'm definitely talking about more of the underground world of sex work. In just
I would,
transactions up.
Yeah, my curiosity is more what drives somebody into that, right?
Do you ask what drives somebody into like working in the petrochemical industry?
Sure. Yeah.
It's just
I love exploring people's stories and why they get into things.
And doing that, yeah. And but you're suspicious that what drove someone into sex work is some sort of that they didn't have the option to get into the petrochemical industry or teacher?
We're speculating, right? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
You're asking very philosophical questions. Does sex work exist? Yes, absolutely.
Do you think ethical sex work can exist?
Yeah, I think when you throw the word ethical and sex work, I mean, it just gets real dicey.
But isn't the word cheating isn't that a word of ethics? Like, doesn't it kind of
again,
imply
I just make it super simple. Super simple. Cheating as defined by going against an agreement.
Yeah, and there's something unethical you would say about going against an agreement.
Sure.
Yeah. So you do have a sense of there is an ethical way to live your life and there's an unethical way to live your life in terms of going against agreements.
Sure. I would say integrity is a better way to live life, striving to have high integrity. Yes.
Yeah. And I guess that's why I go down to, can a sex worker have integrity in their sex work?
Yeah, that's a different question than you asked about, is there such thing as ethical sex work?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get you to make an ethical judgment about sex work.
I know you are.
You're not willing to do it, though.
Well, it's again, if I say no, it's not ethical, then what do we do? Or if I say yes, it's ethical, then what do we do?
I think you're just describing your ethics, and that's good. I think that's kind of the philosophical question of ethics: is people have them. They're not necessarily based in logic. They're based in usually a faith or some kind of like value that they were raised in, and that's why I was just curious. Yeah. Maybe it was too personal of a question.
No, it's fine. I would. We'll just put it this way. I think I would prefer to see less people going into sex work and less people choosing to consume sex work. That would be my preference.
Because I'm assuming, and that's because there is something.
Because I think relationships are healthier. when we don't have those things, and I think healthier relationships are better for society.
Yeah. So you just have a belief then that because it's, the consumption of pornography, that it's generally a symptom of a bad relationship. And that's why you want to see it be removed, because then you think that we'll see more good relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I guess I'm wondering if you can imagine a world of ethical sex workers having good integral relationships with their clients or with, whoever they are working with.
We'll just say that I just watched an hour-long YouTube video on Jubilee about this. Something I can't reconcile. It's hard for me to reconcile. I know it exists. I talk to these people. It happens all the time. It's like a porn star who does their job and then makes the claim that they're going home and having just a relationship with their partner and everything's fine. Mm-hmm. I get that they're making the claim, and I believe them that they're saying everything is fine and happy. For me, I have a hard time reconciling that. It's like you're going out. I don't know if it's that I don't believe them or not, right? Because I truly believe sometimes these people say things. They're like, yeah, I'm happy. Okay, well, it's not for me to argue whether you're happy or not. But it's also like when you look at the evidence, okay, you're out there doing whatever you're doing, having sex with however many people, and this is both for men and women, like which by any account would be infidelity and adultery. And then you're claiming to go home, and it's like we're going to have dinner at the dinner table, and like we're just a married couple. Like that's hard for me to reconcile that everything's kosher there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Especially like I assume you're a straight guy. Like I think in the queer community and those, which are quite large communities, I think there's a little bit, it's a little less normal just to kind of go home to the nuclear family and have a regular relationship and then go about your day. Sex is integrated into lifestyles in very different ways than, the traditional ways. And that does exist. It's just usually very underground because it's not seen as normal or it's seen as unethical. Like, criminal law, it was criminal to be have certain sexual participations with the same sex or something like that for a long time in America. And so when you have a society in which sees some sexual relations as normal and some as sort of, I don't know if it's because we were raised in some sort of biblical culture or something, but seen as like not normal or odd or weird, our ethical, how would I say it? Like kind of our ethical values get shaped by what we all consider as normal.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. I'm in a multiracial marriage. My wife is Mexican. And like, even that was illegal or frowned upon, 50 years ago or something?
Yeah.
Which to me, like,
my wife is Chilean. So I know, like, and we talk about it all the time, and like, it's just fascinating the ways that cultures collide and all that kind of stuff. And I just think our views and philosophies of sex and appropriate sex or inappropriate sex are also very cultural. And so I always wonder about how those worlds collide, especially around the world of sex work. Because, I've been to some countries where sex work was so normalized that it shocked me a little bit. Like I grew up in Canada. So like, very similar to you if you're in the States, I'm not sure. But you go into a place like Thailand and sex work is just so, it's almost like it's expected sort of to like just handle a certain aspect of a human need. And it's treated like that, sort of like going for a massage or, some sort of physiotherapy. It almost has that sense of thing because sex is just brought down to a much more physical or primal level in certain cultures, where here it's elevated very high because we've had purity culture and all these other kinds of pieces. So, yeah. Well, this was an interesting chat. Thanks for engaging with me.
Hold on. What do you do for a living?
I've helped start numerous businesses, just kind of help people think about how organizations, we work with boards of directors and help executives plan their businesses, create strategic plans. I consult in that kind of world.
What's your faith background?
I grew up as an evangelical Pentecostal Christian. And then I went to school, got a BA in religious studies and philosophy. So I've been thinking about this stuff for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'm looking at your website right now. What were you ever a pastor?
Yeah, I planted a church, a Free Methodist church, and was a pastor of that for 14 years.
Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of like things like Triple X Church and like those kinds of things. Like I remember leading our youth group through conversations around sexual purity and avoiding porn and all
Yeah.
these kinds of things. Like I remember doing that as a teenager and trying to help other teenagers, and now as a 40-year-old, I just find these conversations so fascinating because people are at
Hmm.
such different places, and I've met people from all around the world, and now I often question my upbringing and this anti-porn sort of mentality. Not because I do see all the harms of porn, like I do understand the exploitive nature of it, but I've also seen that there's entire cultures that don't have so much baggage with it.
Hmm. Yeah. How would you answer the question of if there can be ethical sex work?
I just think yes. I think agency and autonomy in adults to do what they want with their bodies, with who they want, with other consenting adults. I'm pretty much like thumbs up for anything that consenting adults want to do with and among each other and whatever agreements they come in between each other. But I agree with you. Like if there's an agreement that, hey, we don't look at porn in our relationship, and then you go look at porn, yeah, it's you're cheating or you're breaking the agreement. Like that's pretty blatant. But I just didn't know if it was like an innate thing for all relationships, because I just know many where porn is used to help, pick up their sex life, or someone became a sex worker just to do something else because they thought they would explore a different part of themselves, and then they stopped doing that. And I've just seen so many different versions of porn that haven't always been so negative.
Got it. Cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thanks a lot. Have
All
a
right.
good night.
You got it. See you, man.
Peace.
All right, I'll be back. Oh, while I'm going potty, everyone go to the link in my bio and buy the hoodie. Okay, the new hoodie has dropped. It's there. We'll be right back. All right, like and share, people. Like and share. That was a good talker, but yeah, that what's your name again? Nathan, that was, how do I say this without being disrespectful to many other guests, but that was probably the most intelligent conversation I've had in a long time. All right, let's bring on another guest. We're going to bring on Kelly, life coach, a fellow life coach. I love talking to life coaches. Hey there, what's going on?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Is porn cheating?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Um, I heard you say with the other guests, certain questions are hard to answer yes or no. When it's consensual between a couple, and they're okay with it, then no, it's not cheating. But if there is an agreement, or something of that nature, I would say yes. But obviously, this is a larger question, and
Conversation starter.
yeah, it's absolutely a conversation starter. And thank you for having me up. I've come across your live once before and watched a little bit of it, and then tonight I just felt compelled to jump up. Um, if you, Obviously you see my profile name. For the last 5 years, I have been on TikTok predominantly working as a life coach, specializing in something called narcissistic abuse. And your live and content attracted me because the particular situation that I had with my ex, um, something very interesting occurred during our relationship. It was, not to get too far into the weeds, but it started off. He really presented himself as, kind of a, for lack of a better term, a womanizer. Like a ladies' man. So I kind of fell headfirst into this. It was, there was, uh, a lot of physical attraction. It was, I had never felt this way before. And I was really excited about, the fact that not only was I felt spiritually attracted to him, but I generally just was physically attracted to this man. I was so excited. I was like, wow, I'm in love with him and I want to be with him in that way. So, things started out sort of normal. Then we got married and something drastically changed. He didn't want to touch me. I felt like I had to beg for sex. It was very odd, and I was like, what is happening here? And then the like coaching?
Yeah,
You
all the
know,
above. I
is
don't
that
know.
what you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, like I said, the topic never came up to me, and you know, it's I guess how do you define need or habit? You know, what makes a habit? Is it, you know, it's different. You know, it's subjective for everybody. And
hmm
you know, this, you
Well,
know, it
here's
isn't
something I
a
notice
does,
about
you
what you're
know, like
sharing,
I don't know
right? That
what makes something
yeah,
maybe a problem or not a problem, you know?
yeah. So here's something I noticed talking to you is kind of the crescendo of what you're talking about with your husband was that you discovered pornography and more specifically homosexual pornography.
Correct.
Now you're divorced, and I'm hearing a bit of loneliness. I'm not saying I'm right, and you're now wanting to self-stimulate, having a hard time orgasming, and turning to pornography.
Correct.
What
That's exactly it.
what? Okay, so what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I clearly I've got to peel away the layers of the onion here
Yeah,
because like I said, the reason I brought up the fact that, you know, nothing there's I personally don't think there's absolutely anything wrong with two consensual adults, you know, having sex. You know what I mean? Like if it's safe and it's, you know, whatever. And I love that. I think it's wonderful. I've experienced that, but
are you talking about in
I don't actually
pornography
come
or
to,
in your
yeah,
relationship?
what's up?
Are you talking about in pornography or in your personal
No,
relationships?
in a relationship, just not in corn. I'm just saying in general, but the problem that I have is that I don't actually have an orgasm. I can only
Yeah,
do that by myself.
yeah. When did that start?
Um, well, I to be honest with you, I've always struggled to have like have an orgasm. I'm always aiming to like I've always in that arena aim to please my partner and don't think of myself. Like that is sort of the
Yeah,
last thing that I'm concerned about
yeah.
in the
All
bedroom.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. And what I make of that is that behavior, not even sexually, probably started at a very young age.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're peeling back the
Yes.
layers.
Hmm.
What
And
do you
if
make
I
of
can
that?
just say real quickly, I'm a talker normally. I can talk to my clients, friends, family, coworkers all day long, constantly. But for some reason, this is one subject I stumble. My words, I stumble. I never discuss this.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kelly, you're doing great. All right. And I appreciate it. And by the way, okay, if you want to schedule a private call, I'd be happy to talk to you, not publicly in front of people on
I think
TikTok.
that would be great. I would love
Okay.
that. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So you go to link in my bio. It's $1 for a discovery call, a 30-minute call. You know the drill. Um, but so there's a lot to this, and there's a book that I reference a lot called Unwanted by a guy named Jay Stringer, and he talks about rigid family systems and the impact that has on sexuality. I'll just read like a paragraph or two from this. This is page 27. A rigid home has excessive regulation. There is often one parent who rules the family with an iron fist. The parent demands compliance, but he or she is compliant to no one. As a child, you may be under considerable surveillance, all the while having a front row seat to your parents' glaring hypocrisy. Rigid family systems see everything in black and white, even when an issue has immense complexity. The parent with the power will make a dogmatic decision to reinforce his or her control. This dogma could be in regards to behavior such as dating, curfew, what televisions or movies a child is able to watch, or requiring the house to be perfectly clean before a guest arrives. Children in these homes learn that rules are not like barriers around the Grand Canyon to keep people from dying. They are more like scarlet letters given to shame others into compliance. To survive, you comply or depart, often in dramatic fashion. I'm not going to finish reading this. I mean, it's a few pages long, but you mentioned your family. What I heard was there's some rigidity there. And what I make of that is there's probably some lasting effects, even with your desire, your value, your worth, and how you have shown up in relationships, romantically or otherwise. And I would just say that's maybe a worthwhile thing for you to explore. Does that land with you at all?
It definitely does. You know, I know I brought up the religious aspect, but over the years, I have one of the other reasons I became a life coach, specializing in narcissistic abuse, is because I believe my mother's undiagnosed borderline personality disorder, which is that black and white thinking that you referenced, and very rigid, as well as a covert narcissist, you know, and she never dated after divorce, like doesn't even believe in it, like doesn't, there's nothing going on there, you know. I don't discuss things. We never had the sex talk, you know. I do everything kind of in the darkness, you know, my whole life. And being an empath, an extreme empath, which I've had to get under control, especially over the past 5 years, I used to just give my heart, my soul, my body to my relationships. And my happiness and joy at the time literally came from doing everything for my partner. So I came second. I came last, dead last. You know,
Yeah.
growing up with a mother that, you know, was so into her religion, you know, choosing yourself first was considered selfish and even sinful. You know, you put others first. And
Yeah,
so
not
I
putting
wonder
others
about that.
first would be sinful, and I shouldn't do it. I should always put others first.
Mhm.
That's spiritual abuse.
Yep. And I guess because I haven't been, you know, I had my first boyfriend, my first husband, that lasted 20 years, and then my second husband, who was the sociopath narcissist. Um, since him, I haven't gotten into another serious relationship. I'm looking right now, but discussing this, you know, I realized, you know, I wanted to have this discussion because it has been in the back of my mind as sort of that lingering area. Um, like I see other people, particularly men, so easily orgasm and think of themselves and do that kind of thing. And I feel a sense of envy. You know, why I want to be that way. I want to have that freedom. And
Yeah, well,
you know,
and that's at least part of the root of it for you. Is like you weren't seen, or maybe your parents didn't see and attune to you in the way that you were needing to, and you've been playing second your whole life.
hmm absolutely.
And I wouldn't even say it's tucked away in your unconscious, right? It's your implicit memory, but it's running your life. It's
hmm
running your life. By the way, the book, for those of you in the chat asking, it's called Unwanted by Jay Stringer. I'll put a picture of it right here. By the way, I'm a coach. I do
Thank
one-on-one
you.
coaching as well as group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. I have groups, private groups that we meet once a week or twice a week, depending on which one, on Zoom. And we largely go through concepts from books like Unwanted by Jay Stringer, The Betrayal Bind by Michelle Mays, which is one of the ones I use for betrayal trauma. And if you're interested in that, you can schedule a discovery call with me using the link in my bio. It's $1 for a 30-minute call, chat about your situation if I might be able to help, or point you to somebody or something that can help. I'd love to chat with you. We have a great place to heal together in community because healing doesn't occur until it's witnessed empathetically. That's what community is all about. So if you want to join the community, schedule a call with me or get more info in my bio. All right. So how are you feeling, Kelly? What do you notice in your body?
Oh my God. First of all, my entire body is tingling and it feels like jello because I just realized that I opened up about something that I had buried very, very deep.
Yeah. Well,
Um, you
thank
know,
you, Kelly. Thank you for doing that. It takes
yeah,
courage to do that.
yeah, I'm not kidding. It's the one singular aspect that I know if I'm holding the truth stick, I have, uh, not addressed.
Hmm.
I've not addressed. And there was a little voice in the back of my mind that said, maybe I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not the only woman.
again, I just got a new data set in. Of your 400 clients, 1,700 of them are struggling with a partner dealing with. I'm just kidding. You're not the only one. Why do we do this, society? We pretend like nobody has sex issues. Everybody has a sexual story. And
I mean, yeah,
I've never met anybody with one that doesn't involve some sort of brokenness, but we don't want to talk about it. And okay, that's in part why I do this, right? But again, thank you for sharing
yeah,
that. And
absolutely.
you're not alone in it. You're not alone. Okay. And again, I think there's a lot for you to look at in your story of how you shared that, and even just where you're at today. I'm gonna make an assertion. I'm not saying I'm right. You don't just want to have an orgasm, though I'm sure you'd love to. There's a longing beneath that you're really wanting, and it has to do with love and connection, comfort, safety, being seen and known. The orgasm is one manifestation of that, which is delightful, by the way. But it's not about banging genitals together, as Adam Young puts it in his book, Make Sense of Your Story.
Yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. I mean, one other, yeah, just put, just one other little comment that I was going to say was, um, you know, I know I brought this up a couple times and not to like, reinforce it again, but, like I said, I love intimacy. And every time I go into it, I'm like, this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time. And
Hmm.
I get there, and then literally there was something. It's like I hit a wall. Like I can get so close. I hit a wall, and I'm just like there. I get this feeling. It's deep inside me, and all of a sudden I just feel so defeated. I'm like nope. And then I don't want to. And also there's that feeling of a feeling like a fraud when you're with the partner because sometimes they say, "Oh, did you have an orgasm?" Or however they say it, and you're like, a couple times I'm like, shamefully, I'm like, well, yeah, of course,
Yeah,
and
because
I
that's
never
the way you're supposed
want
to
to
answer.
say that again.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. I don't want to say it again. I won't. I refuse to do it. Like
yeah,
I've come to that conclusion. It's not going to happen. But yeah, but I genuinely, in all of aspects of my life, especially growing up with a narcissistic mother and not feeling like I had an identity until I was in my 40s. The one thing I never want to be again is a fraud in my own mind. Pretending to be somebody that I'm not, and that is an aspect where I generally feel like a fraud and a liar. Like I don't want to be that.
yeah, yeah, totally. Well, even with what you're talking about, it's like you're so conditioned to not put yourself first. You can't even put yourself first when you're by yourself trying to have pleasure.
Yeah,
So, well,
absolutely.
I'd love to
Well,
unpack it with you, Kelly. If you want to schedule a
yeah,
call,
I will set
yeah,
up a time. I will.
yeah, yeah. Nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting with you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
W's in the chat for Kelly. Thank you for sharing, Kelly. Truly appreciate the vulnerability. Bet you didn't think you were going to have that conversation tonight on TikTok. Thanks for sharing. Porn life coach. What's up, man? Good to see you. Who's the person that said they have a PhD from UCLA? Are you still here? Let me know if you're there, and I'll bring you up. I'm out of Wawa. In my house, we say Wawa because my 4-year-old, he can't say his R's. It's so cute, but it's becoming a problem. Wawa. Where's my Wawa? Agua. Wawa. All right, let's bring another person on. Oh, here he is. Porn life coach. What's up, man?
Hey, brother, what's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm tired, bro. It's 2:00 in the morning, my time.
2:00 in the morning. Hey,
And I
everyone
gotta
give
get
this guy a follow. He's a fellow porn coach.
And I get up in 2.5 hours to hit the gym. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm tired.
dude. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man.
Here, you want to practice your porn coaching skills?
Oh man, you're gonna
Great.
put me on the spot, bro.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
fill my water up. It's your live now.
All right. Man, he's put me on the spot, guys. So yeah, I'm just getting into this whole thing. Trying to start my own thing with helping men, being in a men's ministry to help guys learn that they don't have to live with the bondages of living in their shame and guilt of having a porn addiction like I've had for decades. So yeah, and I'm just trying to just trying to share that message with other guys. As guys, we think that we have to white knuckle it to stop, and I've been through a lot to try to understand where it all comes from. I've been to 12-step. I've been through other courses, and I had always thought that porn was my problem, and I had to understand that porn was not my problem. Porn was my solution to get through the stresses of life. And in that, porn was just a symptom of me self-medicating to get through life. Like any addiction, whether it be alcohol or drugs or porn, you name the addiction, we're using the addiction to get through the stresses of life. So yeah, it's kind of.
How did he do, guys? How did he do? Now your adrenaline's going. There's no way you're sleeping tonight.
Dude, no kidding. Like I'm on just doing good right now, right?
Look, they said you did good. You did great. We need more people like you in Austin. We're engaged. Yeah, man, I'll just sit back. You got it.
Oh, bro, right? Yeah. It's hard. Here's what I've talked to Austin, and it's like, dude, like I want to do this. I feel a calling on my life for this, but like when I have to get behind the camera or the audio, I freeze up. I don't know what to say. I have a passion to be able to talk to guys. I can talk to guys with no problem. But when I have to get on social media, I'm jacked up. I don't know if I'm getting it right. I don't know.
Yeah, you're just in your head, man.
Yeah,
you're
right.
I don't know if I'm getting it right either, but people keep
Right.
coming back. So, you know. All right, man.
All right,
What else
bro.
you want to share?
Oh man. Well, now I just need to just do my own thing. Like you got me out of my shell. I need to go in here. Like I can't do this, Austin. I can do this.
You can do this. You just did
Right,
it. You just did it.
it.
Yeah, you just did it.
That's
Now do it more.
Yeah, I do. I don't need to do it at 2:00 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, though.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
man. Thanks for
all
sharing.
right,
You
bro.
got this.
All right, bro.
See ya.
Take it easy. All right.
All right. W's in the chat for him. Porn life coach. He stole my name. I can't believe he stole my name. I told him, great artists steal. Just steal. Steal everything. Go watch good videos you like and then recreate them. Put your own spin on it. No new ideas under the sun. Give me a follow if you guys don't follow me already. If you like my content, right up there. Hey there, what's going on? Sandy.
Oh, no, I don't want to be on here.
Oh, all right.
Okay, sorry. I'm just listening. I'm having a
Okay.
good time listening. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
God, that sounded like California Mary. That was like totally California Mary. I know it wasn't her, but who? Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. Women watch it too, so is your question to both genders. My question is non-gendered. My question is asking the question, is porn cheating? Hey there, what's going on? Ranger O? Hello. I think we're going to get some snores tonight, people. We've had people waiting for a long time, which means we're going to get some snorers. Love snorers. They're the best. W's in the chat for the snorers. Hopefully.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey there, yeah, I can. Is porn cheating?
I would say yes, and I would also like to share a personal experience about how porn is actually beyond cheating. It's unethical if you watch it. Is that
Okay,
okay?
sure.
So I just ask that people don't judge me and just listen to the whole story. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I used to be a dominatrix, and because of that, I was surrounded by a lot of people in the adult industry. And the stuff that I saw over the years that I was a part of, that what they call community, drug use, depression, suicides, exploitation of children, open, very blatant racism, very blatant sexism. If you don't support any of those things, I don't understand how you can watch porn. And I understand a lot of people don't know how exploitive the industry, I'm just going to say industry. I don't think a lot of people know, like, behind the scenes, how exploitive the industry is. But think of any part of our society that, like, morally and ethically you disagree with. Porn allows it to turn into something that people can get off to. So let me, like, an example is, if you disagree with the exploitation of children or teenagers, etc., right? Minors in general, how can you support an industry where a category is literally barely legal, right? There's an entire category in porn for barely legal. And if you guys don't know, and I'll tell you just from fighting with people in the adult industry about it over the years, they recruit girls and guys straight out of high school, directly out of high school. And they try to catch them when they're 16, 17 years old so that they can sign them as soon as they turn 18, so they can, that agency or that company or production company, whatever it is, can be their very first porn movie. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone, but it's extremely exploitive. And so I would argue that porn is not just cheating. Every time you watch it, you're supporting that. You're supporting an industry that is not only exploitive, but extremely damaging. And I believe in my heart helps to normalize the most horrible parts of our society, right? Like, if you're against racism, I like, obviously I'm a black woman, right? If you're against racism, right? There is porn specifically exploiting all kind of different people, right? Like, but lots of black people, right? Like, categorizing us as like animals almost, right? So if you say you're against racism, how can you support an industry that kind of like makes racism a thing to jerk off to, or makes child exploitation a thing to jerk off to, or makes misogyny a thing to jerk off to? So I feel like when people, like, there are people in the chat, for example, right? And they were saying it's two consensual adults, right? Like, it can't be cheating because it's two consensual adults that are watching this. And if they're okay, if they're in a relationship and they're okay with it, then there's nothing wrong with it. I would argue, right, that if you're two consenting adults, right, you're the two consenting adults, but how do you know the porn you're watching, that person is of age, right? And how do you know the porn that you're watching, that person is not depressed? How do you know the person in the porn you're watching is not taking drugs, right? Drugging themselves up to be uh, out of it and disassociate long enough to get through doing the actual porn, right? So you can be with your partner and you can say, partner, wife, husband, however you want to say it, you can be with your spouse and you can say, oh, okay, so we're two adults that consent to it, so it's okay. But can you guarantee that every bit of that you are watching is consensual? Did those people consent wholeheartedly, or is there other things going on? Unless you can say that that person is 100%, number one, over the age of 21, right? And just wants to just do it, right? Which there's a lot of stuff I can unpack there as well, but I'm not going to. Unless you know for a fact that the people you are watching are not secretly suffering, right? Because a lot of them literally commit suicide. Like, if you look at the suicide rates of people that used to be in the adult industry, it's very, very high. But the adult industry is a billion-dollar industry. And so they spend a lot of money to hide those statistics. And I'm telling you, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, anytime that you speak out against the adult industry, they have so much money to come after you, to sue you, to silence you. And so a lot of women that used to be in the adult industry, like if you look at Mia Khalifa, she literally talks about how she came forward and talked about the adult industry and people were like threatening her, right? And I know a lot of people don't take that stuff serious, but this is like a very real thing. And so a lot of women in particular feel like if they ever come forward about their experiences, they're going to be harassed, they're going to be sued, they're going to be blackballed from having any other job. The stuff that they do to silence people you wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even believe it. And so when you're an individual person going up against a billion-dollar industry, there are consequences for telling the truth, right? Me going around in different interviews telling the truth, like me going on podcasts, which I have, and telling the truth about the adult industry, I've been contacted by people I don't even know in the adult industry asking me to stop, quote unquote, bashing the industry, right? So I'll land here and I'll just end here by saying, when you watch porn, it's not just cheating with, on your partner, right? It's a whole scope, a whole world that you are supporting. It's a whole industry you're supporting. And unless you know that the people you are watching are not drugged up, that they're of legal age, that they're not secretly suffering, that they're not about to commit suicide in a year because they can't figure out how to get out of the industry without being blackballed and stalked and everything else and harassed and threatened with lawsuits, unless you can guarantee that when you watch porn, you are literally supporting suffering of people. You are literally supporting racism, misogyny. You are supporting the exploitation of children. You are supporting all these things. And so when people think about porn, I think the mindset needs to shift from just, oh, I'm okay with it, so then it's fine, and think more about how this is so much bigger than just you and your partner. And I'll land there.
All right. Wow, that's a lot. Why is this so? Why are you so passionate about this?
I think it started. So I was a dominatrix for a while, and I think at first
Can you
it
can you
was
tell me what that means?
which part?
A dominatrix.
Um, so it's like are you familiar with like BDSM?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like dominating people. It's hard to explain, but like dominating people, like spanking, tying up people, all kinds of stuff.
So when I guess what I'm the way that you're using I was a dominatrix, is that like as a profession or just in your relationships that's what you would do?
No, as a
Like,
profession.
got it.
So
Okay.
I there's two things that happened in my life, right? And I heard, I forgot what her name was, but she was talking about like traumas, for example, right? And so the trauma that I had was I was assaulted as a child, and it made me feel out of control sexually, right? And I felt like I needed to regain control by entering this profession. So that's one thing. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing was I was homeless at one point in my life, right? And I talk about this in a lot of interviews I've had, like with different magazines. I was homeless and I needed a way to make money. And that was a very fast way to make money. And it also made me feel like I was in control. Over the years, to answer your question, I started seeing things that that didn't sit right with me, that I couldn't unsee. That like I noticed people in the adult industry would come up with so many excuses for, and even though I was around it, it didn't mean that I agreed with it. And so I would have so many arguments, so many like conflicts with people, that it was like people were trying to convince me that there was nothing wrong with what I was seeing, like gaslighting me. I don't know if that's the right term, but like making me feel like what I was seeing, I wasn't seeing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
recruiting 17-year-olds to be in porn to do like barely legal stuff. I'm not sure how that's right, right? And I think no matter how they tried to explain it to me to make it make sense to me, I didn't understand it. I didn't agree with it. So I think what happened was after seeing so much of what was going on, I've had friends that committed suicide. I saw so many women drug themselves up just to build up the courage to be naked on camera. Like like people don't even understand how deep it is. Like a lot of the women you see when you watch porn, a lot of those women are on drugs, heavy drugs. They drink so much alcohol just to put them in a state of mind where they feel okay doing that kind of stuff. And so that's why I left. That's why I left it. I left it behind. I got married. I wanted to start my life over. And that's my testimony, right? And so when I left it behind, it was hard, right? Because that's what I knew, right? What I knew was that industry and that lifestyle. And when I wanted to start over, I was shamed for it.
Mm-hmm.
Very publicly, very privately. People tried to make me feel guilty for walking away from it. And so I started working in nightlife. I became an events producer. I'm actually a very successful event producer. And now I encourage women that are still in the industry to walk away and just try something different, right? Just dip your toes into a different career path, because transitioning, how do I say this? I feel like a lot of women that stay in the industry and are in that bad place, they stay because they feel like nobody else will hire them because of what they did, like them doing porn or being a cam worker or having a OnlyFans or something like that. They feel like they can't be hired other places, or people are going to reject them, or people are always going to judge them. So they stay in the industry, and that's why they're drugging themselves up. That's why they're always drinking alcohol. That's why they end up committing suicide, because they don't see a path beyond that. And I was really delusional about how much I believed in myself. I'm not going to even lie to you. I had no idea what I was doing, right? Like, I just knew I was tired and I needed to walk away. It wasn't good for me, right? And so I I don't know if I don't know if there's anyone like listening to this that is in that industry, but like, if you want to walk away, please just leave. There's another world for you. There's another life for you. You don't need to do that. You don't need to put yourself in that situation. Just walk away. It's okay. Like, you'll find something else. Everyone is not going to judge you. I still get some judgment from some people, but like, overall, there are so many people that clapped for me, that cheered me on, that gave me opportunities. And so, yeah, it doesn't have to be the end of your life, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's all
Wow.
I really wanted to say.
Oh, is that it? Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's a lot, and I mean, just I hope you're reading the comments, because you know that I think you've made an impact on a lot of people in the comments, just sharing vulnerably. So I appreciate that, and man, I'm just so happy to hear the place that you're in now, going through what you did. It's incredible. So
Thank
thanks for
you.
sharing.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. All right, W's in the chat. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
W's in the chat. Men should have to listen to her speech before they play a porn video. There should be something on the porn sites instead of just an age disclaimer, which there should be. It's kind of like a smoking label, right? I think that people have actually tried to pursue legislation towards that. Hi, I've joined your live before, and some more things have happened. I was hoping to talk to you. You can schedule a call with me. Use the link in my bio, if you'd like to chat. Maya, and anybody else who is struggling with pornography or sex addiction and or betrayal trauma. If you want to schedule a call, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. I have support groups. If you feel lonely going through this, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone. Isolation, it's a killer. Last time you joined live. Well, yeah, get in line, Maya. Get in line. We'll get to you, maybe. What is this live about, actually? And what is it that you stand for? What is this live, and what is it I stand for? I stand for relationship restoration and personal transformation. Oh, and my camera froze. Why did my camera freeze? Dude.
women who actively have an OF account. And since there's also many more other businesses, not just OF, so that number is actually a bare minimum.
Fact check is accurate, with the U.S. having the largest number of creators at 1.1 million.
Yeah, that's just OF.
Yeah, just on OF, yep.
Yeah. So whilst I personally think it's unethical, there's certainly going to be a good number of women themselves that think it's not. They make a living out of this. And now, since the last person that's joined Venus, I don't think that sounds like a niche. That sounds like a specific niche that people watch or do. It doesn't really cover the whole aspect of the industry. The general industry is just, I would say, more softer, and that's why I find it difficult to answer this question. So yes, it's unethical, but certainly women themselves who are involved in it are actually in some ways happy because it gives them quick money, whether it's a second job or they do it full time. They make pretty good money from it. So it's quite a difficult to it's a difficult thing to answer, because I know you're going to have some people back it for that sense, and then other people like myself will back it, will actually be against it for other reasons, which you shouldn't be doing it anyway. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation for me.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm tracking with you. I'm reading statistics now. Yeah, I mean, just with the sheer number, it's like, where does this go? Where does this go? You know how many registered nurses there are? I'm trying to make sense of this data. I think it's saying in the United States, that seems high. 2.2 million nurses in the U.S. Does that seem high? That seems high.
I'm not sure about nurse.
Where do you live?
I'm in London.
Okay. Oh, there's 4.7 in the U.S., making nursing the nation's largest healthcare profession. About 3.5 are actively licensed. So these are most common occupations for women in the labor force. Registered nurses at 2.2 million, according to this graph. Mm-hmm. Elementary and middle school is at 1.8 million. Managers at 1.5. Customer service at 1.4. Secretaries at 1.4. And then what this article is saying is, when will virtual prostitutes be on this list? They would come in at the 7th position. OnlyFans.
I think that's pretty low. I don't think it's 7th. If 1% is on OF and that's just one platform.
Yeah. All right. So, where do you think it'll go?
Well, I think how it's gone so far, it seems to be accepted, right? It seems to be morally accepted throughout the world. It's as if, there's no shame. I personally think as well, women push women. So, women will go, oh, yes, girl, go grab the money or whatever it is. And that doesn't help. So I think they're around bad environments and they're not getting the right true advice. So they're in this loophole of just, how can I say this without being disrespectful? Delusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so long that continues, and it seems to be continuing, government-wise, so long they pay taxes, I don't think government cares.
Mm-hmm.
And where does this go? Unfortunately, I see it going nowhere but downhill.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. How many OF creators are there in the UK? Dude, I'm playing with this stupid pen, and then I
I
get ink on my fingers, and I get ink on my lips. Sorry.
The last time I think the number of percentages is similar,
Hmm.
which is actually quite a lot if you think about it. 1% is actually quite a lot in population terms, and it's actually worrying. What's more worrying is as girls become 18, 19,
Oh,
the
this,
new
dude,
generation.
my freaking camera. This data it actually comes from the United States Department of Labor, and this is current data as of 2025, where nurses are the highest at 2.3 million. So OF creators, just OF creators, would be the 7th highest profession in the United States for women, assuming that OF data is women. Now, active OF creators, that's a whole other story. Because how many accounts are there on OnlyFans where they create an account and they upload a few videos and then they do nothing? Probably 98% of them,
Sure.
right? Like they're not doing
But
it full time.
sure. But if you exclude OF, and we both agree that there is 50 other campsite businesses,
Yeah.
how many are on there and not on OF? OF now would probably, for a lot of women, be hard to get into because it's been what's the word? Only like popular people make money. So if you want to get into it, they'd probably go on other new businesses. So I think that the numbers aren't telling. I think it's much more higher. You said 2.3 million. Sorry, is it 2.3 million nurses or percentage?
2.3 million registered nurses for women in the labor force. This is
Yeah.
full-time year-round employed 16 years or older.
Yeah, so that number is double the confirmed accounts on OF. And I'm saying surely then we'll double all the other campsite businesses. It's the same as nurses, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Does that make
Well, there's a
sense?
lot of them. Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is there's a ton of them, and I think it's a problem. You know, like
Yeah.
one of the guests I talked to earlier, it's like, well, I think people do this because they don't think they have a choice, or they don't think that they have value to bring to the market more so than selling their body, and particularly their young body. Like, how many 50-year-old women are going into OF? Probably not that many.
Yeah. Yeah, so
And
what's concerning is the rise of the young generation looking at this and thinking, oh, this is an easy way to make money. I don't need to go and do a 9 to 5. Why would I get paid, I don't know, 1,000 a week when I can get 1,000 a day or something?
yeah, totally. All right. Thanks for sharing, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Am I freezing still? I think I'm back. 1,000 a week. Oh, these people make way more than that. I think the most I've heard from somebody I've had on here is like 50 or 60 grand a month. All right, Maya, make it quick. Hey there, what's going on?
Hi, I joined your live probably a month or two ago with my boyfriend.
Okay.
And I had caught him watching porn and saw one of your lives pop up, and I was like, oh, let's talk to him. And then you gave advice to read a book. I can't remember what book it was,
Probably
but
Unwanted.
yeah, I think so. For him to like read, because you basically just said it was probably a lot of past trauma and things that he's been through, to where he goes to that. And my father actually passed away earlier this month, so it was a lot for me to handle. And like my boyfriend would check my phone all the time, but I just had no urgency to be like checking his phone at this point. He like downloaded an app to where I can see what apps he's using anyways, but he had YouTube Music, and I guess to me, I still consider it porn because you're watching women, you know, do things that they shouldn't be doing on social media in general. He was supposed to go to work that day and decided not to. So I was like, okay, let's go be productive. Let's go to the gym with my uncle. Let's go get food. And we did all of that. And this was already after, like, I lost my father and was grieving for probably about 4 days. And we got back from all of that, and he went into the bathroom for probably 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but I'm too focused on, like, grieving and spending time with my family to even really be concerned about it. And I had checked his phone to see if his manager had texted him back to see if he could come in later that day, and he still had the video on his phone. Like, he didn't even think, let me delete this. He just had the video still playing on his phone. And he walked out. He said, I'm sorry. He walked out. He left for about 7 to 8 hours, and he has a lot of like, not in a mean way, but like mental issues that he just hasn't dealt with. And he actually ended up getting 5150 that night, and now he's in a mental health program. And I'm struggling to decide what's best for me at this point, because I know that it's not just him lusting for other women. There's a deeper meaning as to why he's doing these things. And he's finally getting help for it. But I'm struggling to understand how he decided that during this time of my mourning, this was the time for him to start doing that again. And he always uses that it's like when he's in a bad spot, when he's in a really bad spot mentally, he just wants to feel better. And that's how he thinks he'll feel better. And then he feels worse after he does it. And it's not super common, but it happens every couple months. And of course it's going to make me feel differently than what his intentions are for it. And I think it was just a really hard time at that moment. So I guess I'm just trying to get a little bit of advice on how to go about the situation, because it's tough bringing it up. There's always arguments about it, and it's not something that's like easily able to just be let go for me. I'm just not able to just move forward from it, and I'm kind of concerned that even if anything's really going to change in the end.
Okay. All right. How old are you again?
21.
Okay. I don't know the answer for you.
Okay.
But I'm curious why you're still in that relationship.
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I guess, like, basically that I love him, but is he really showing me with his actions that he feels, as deeply as I do? Probably not.
All right.
And
So
comfort. Yeah.
Two words. Believe behavior.
Yeah.
Believe behavior. What does his behavior indicate?
His behavior indicates that he's selfish and mostly just cares about pleasing himself and nurturing himself. And I guess the hard part is I also have, like, he nurtures me, he loves me, he communicates towards me, but when it comes down to his actions, I feel like he uses his mental health almost as like an excuse as to why he does these things, but then he does no action to prevent it or fix it.
Yeah. I'm going to read a quote to you. At some point, it is not loving to continue a relationship with a person who consistently and perniciously harms you without some sign of repentance and change.
Mhm.
How does that land with you?
When I hear it, I almost want to, like, hearing the repentance and change. He's shown repentance, but has he shown the action with it? So it's like he's repented, he's admitted his faults, he's taken accountability, but then the only active change that I've seen now is him going to the program because he knew that he couldn't come back here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
it's
do you
tough.
have in your life who's supporting you through this?
No one really. My sisters are like in their I don't like to talk to people very often in
Why's
my
that?
close. Sometimes it's anger for how they feel about it and feeling like I don't feel heard, or it's just been my parents were drug addicts and my mom's clean now, but I carry a lot of resentments and more of like I'm gonna do it myself, you know, and just
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. I can be grown. I moved out at like 15 or 16 years old and went and lived with my grandma for a year or two, and it was just like you're gonna die alone, so you should go through this alone type of thing. Like you don't die with anybody else by your side. When you're gone, you're gone. So it's just been a thing that's been instilled on my brain, honestly, since I was a little kid because of my dad. That you need to be capable of handling all of this yourself, and you need to be strong enough to handle it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very prominent thing in my life where I just don't feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing as to why I'm with him too, because the only place I can mourn or like fully grieve is with him. I don't know why, but nobody else I feel comfortable with, like even crying to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's something keeping you there. I don't know what it is. What do you think you need to do?
I think I know what I need to do. I think it's just hard to physically do it. I don't know why. Like I feel that hold back from just standing my ground, and it could be my father because he was highly in like addiction, extremely, and there was always that I can save him kind of mentality because of my mother consistently doing that with my dad, and because I started doing that with my dad for the past year. So I think it's just it's a fear of losing something that could have been something beautiful if I just stuck through it. But then it's like at the same time I'm so scared of being alone again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrifying for you to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in quite the predicament.
Yeah.
And
I
you
would
don't
also
have
like to say that I don't agree with having the thing on his phone to where I can like see his apps and anything like that. He just knew that my lack of trust with him would like subside a little bit if he put that on his phone, and he consistently like told me like his brother has the same issues and his wife had that on the phone, and it brought the trust up. But I feel like it's something where I should be able to physically trust you without having to look at an app and make sure you're not doing anything, and that still doesn't prevent it because they always still find a way. And I never wanted that app. He was just pretty consistent about having it. And I'm like, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. But I don't like the idea of having something that feels very controlling, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, accountability apps are useful, but they're not the end game.
Right.
Because it's not addressing the root of the issue.
Yeah, he doesn't address the root of the issue really ever. It's more of a thing of when there's really heated arguments about porn, about, you know, him not showing enough actions, whatever it might be. It's like there's that blow up, and then it's like he says, I'm sorry, I was wrong, let's move on. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not you can't have a really deep and productive conversation with him because it just makes him more and more upset.
Mm-hmm. So you're in a really you got a ton of tension going on with this conversation in your life. What's the cost of this on your life long term? If you don't take drastic action. When I say drastic action, I mean like you don't really take a stand for yourself. What's the
Yeah.
cost of you not doing that?
Ultimately having, you know, a family with him and living in this misery and this survival mode consistently. And I think I'm so not okay with it, but I'm almost like content with it is because I've lived that for so long with my parents being addicts and like living in a home, seeing that tension, that I'm already in that survival mode 24/7 just from trauma, that I'm very somewhat comfortable with this because that's what I perceive as love is like almost like anger like, you know, these arguments mean that you love me because if you don't argue with me and you just walk out, then you really don't love me. And that's a very toxic thing to believe, but I think it's just because I've seen that majority of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're in a tough spot. You're in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
And, you know, doing this alone is really hard.
Yeah. And people saying that I don't stick up for myself, I might sound really calm right now, but I am a very dominant kind of person and I bite back and I do all those things and it's not healthy, but I definitely do stand my ground. And it works for a little bit, but at the end of the day, when I let that guard down again and when I can be a gentle, loving, feminine woman, it bites me in the ass
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. Well, Maya, again, you know, you're in a tough spot and, you know, some sort of support is going to help you. Therapy, coaching, counseling, a support group, a faith community. I don't know what it is, but I rarely, well, and I won't, but could you get yourself involved in some sort of healing environment?
Yeah, I'm not sure where I would start that. I did therapy for a little bit and then I actually went to rehab about like 8 months ago and I had a pretty good therapist in there, but I feel like I say like I get down to, you know, trauma and things like that, but then I say the right things. I'm like, same with my dad. I was just like, yeah, it's not my problem anymore. Like, I'm gonna move on. Like, I'm not gonna focus on that. And then once I'm back in my room, bed rotting and depressed, then I'm like, I need that person. It's strange. It's gonna take a long, long time for me to not only say it, but follow through with it.
Yeah.
And I do follow a 12-step program and I do all of that. And am I doing it to my best ability? No. Am I giving more than 50%, 100%? Like I'm not half-assing this. I have so much going on with family, with him, it's so overwhelming that I've taken a step back from my program because my sponsor is giving me this time to fully grieve and feel. But I have just so much going on that so many things are running through my mind 24/7 that I feel like I can't get a grip on, you know, going to a therapist or like doing things that are beneficial for myself because I literally just want to sleep 24/7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your body's telling you something.
Yeah.
Your body's carrying this trauma and it's affecting you everywhere. So sorry you're going through that.
Thank you. Yeah, I honestly just wanted to talk to you. I don't know why. I just wanted to get that all out because I truly don't feel comfortable with talking to a lot of people about it. But I see you all the time on live and I'm like, might as well just rant a little bit. Sorry if I talked your ear off.
Mm-hmm. No, it's okay. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, chat. That's it. I'm going to bed. Great being with you all tonight. Thank you to the guests. Thank you for sharing. My name's Austin Hamilton. I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching for people struggling with unwanted sexual behavior, such as porn or sex addiction, as well as women dealing with betrayal trauma. I have support groups. We meet weekly on Zoom on either Tuesday nights or Wednesday afternoon. The groups cost money. The info is in my bio. You can schedule a private call with me if you'd like to chat about your situation. It won't be posted on TikTok or anything. It's $1 for a 30-minute call if you are interested in that. Why would you do something like that? Well, if you're sick and tired of where you're at in life and this relationship is bothering you, or his porn use is bothering you, or her affair is bothering you, there's more available for you. It will take courage to step into a new life. It takes courage. Courage flows from the heart. How do I know? Well, I was addicted to porn for 20 years, which escalated into physical cheating with my wife. Still married to the same woman. We've been married 14 years. The first 6 sucked. 6? 14 minus 8? Yeah. The first 6 sucked. The last 8 have been much better with no porn and infidelity. What we have is intimacy. Into-me-see. Anyways, great being with you all tonight. Make it a great day or not. Choice is always yours. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.